Are you letting your friends get away with too much capping? Not anymore. Yap vs. Cap empowers you to challenge every statement, every story, well, you get it. It's time to bring the heat. Are you ready to play? Tap the product card to buy Yap vs. Cap on TikTok Shop.
Is pornography good or bad? What is pornography? You never answered the question.
The real problem is if you think the act of sex is degrading, you're going to think photos of the act of sex are degrading. And in your case, obviously, you think that sex is dirty and disgusting, and so you don't want to see photos of it. I think sex is exciting and wonderful, and those who want to see it, consenting adults should be allowed to.
In my case, I think sex is dirty. Have you been inside my bedroom?
Well,
I mean, I realize
it's a very boring place.
Now, so that I don't paint myself as a square, all right, and I don't want to paint you as a square, obviously.
I would hope not.
No, God,
I read
you say someone who is afraid of sex thinks that everything is pornographic.
Well, why else would you think pornography is dirty unless somehow you've been traumatized by the sexual act or so hung up with religion that you somehow feel that hedonism and sexual explicitness is dirty and disgusting?
Well, here's what I find a little wild, all right? Tell me if this is wild, all right? The girl being tied up to the bed, spread eagle to the end of the bedpost, all right? All right? To me, that is degrading to a woman, all right? That's saying that the guy who likes that, the guy who likes to have sex like that couldn't make it on his own, all right, if he has to tie the woman up. Because he ain't going to get nothing, baby, unless he does.
I feel like Eichmann in Israel on trial.
I sometimes wonder if your attitude hasn't done as much damage.
I would hope it has, because if sexual emancipation engenders anti-Semitism, I really am not responsible for that. Page 6 of the Post, describe your bedroom. Now, all this razzle-dazzle, hurricane, and all this stuff, is this to make up for the lack of fireworks you supply?
No, that describe my bathroom, all right? Describe my bathroom, pal, and if you want to join me in my bathroom, then you're sicker than I thought you were.
Is this an offer?
My bedroom is a very normal bedroom, all right? It's a queen-size bed, nice padded backboard, all right? Mirror on the ceiling, mirror on the floor, no. My bedroom is a very plain and simple bedroom where my wife and I can enjoy sex, and we do enjoy it, pal.
You ready?
Oh, yeah. We enjoy it. We don't have to use things like this. I'm sorry you feel your sex life is so abnormal that you have to have 3 people around you.
Where have I said that, Mort? I want to ask you something. Seriously, are you a good lover? Do you think you give your wife pleasure?
My wife thinks I am, and that's all I really care about.
Okay, good. It's nice. Very positive. Good. You see, I think that's something you should be proud about. No, I'm serious about it. I think it's wonderful. I mean, I was under the impression that you're sex negative, somehow filled with sin and damnation. No, you're sex positive. I commend you for it.
Just for the sick stuff. I'm not, let me tell you something. When my little girl, I won't mention, when this little girl, all right, that I know was 5 years old, I was walking her by a newsstand. In that newsstand was a copy of your magazine, Screw. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you remember the issue where you had the blown-up picture of the woman's portion of the body, all right?
Not on the cover, Mort. We don't have any.
It was on the cover.
There's no obscenity on the front page, because I really feel an unwomanly
You save the obscenity for inside?
We are dirty inside, clean outside, unlike most media.
You're obscene on the inside.
Because that's what our readers want, is explicit sex, which I think of as a positive.
My little girl asked me what the picture was. I had to tell her.
You told her the facts of life.
I told her it was a butterfly. At 5 years old, I didn't tell her the facts of life, all right? Okay. 5 years old, I didn't tell her the facts of life.
Okay, but don't you agree that adults who want to get sexual material should be allowed to? Let's go back to your opening issue of pornography. By the way, I testified at the Meese Commission, and
they gave a lot of weight to what you said.
Well, they weren't listening, Mort. Their mind was closed. On the Meese Commission were prosecutors, were people with their minds closed. The 2 people who voted against the Meese Commission were women. So why and how can you sustain your hypothesis that pornography exploits women?
I think it exploits women.
Dignifies women.
When a woman is violently violated, all right, I think that's exploiting women.
Do you think a woman is exploited in the pages of Playboy or Penthouse when she's spread wide? Tell me.
In Playboy, no, I don't, because they're not usually spread that way. In Penthouse, they have a tendency to. And look, if the girl wants to do that, that's up to her. All right?
That's the point.
That's up to her if she wants to do that.
Okay. Would you respect
I'm not
her
finding
right,
any
though?
fault with that. I find fault with the kind of stuff, Al, that you've really been involved with all your life.
Mort, I've never been involved with that S&M stuff. It represents 3% of what's in the pages of Screw. If you think cunnilingus and
Say, I've
fellatio...
never been involved with it, but it represents only 3%.
That's minor. That's minor. The majority of our stuff is if you think fellatio...
I've met 100 people. I only killed 3 of them, so that's minor. You say porno was not exploitive, all right?
I don't think
so.
so.
Next, all right, the unwilling victims of porno. I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back with Al. Stand by. Welcome back, everybody. On stage with us tonight, now joining us is Norma Ramos. Norma, let me ask you to give our audience a little bit of your background, all right?
I serve as general counsel to an organization that has 10,000 members. It's called Women Against Pornography. And it is an organization that is devoted to ending the $8 to $10 billion a year traffic in women and children known as the pornography industry.
What is pornography to you? Can you define it?
Actually, what's interesting is that in the last few years, due to 2 very well-known feminists, Catherine McKinnon and Andrea Dworkin, they have defined pornography. They defined pornography because in working with this movement, we began to have to address the question of what is pornography? Is it in fact something that cannot be defined? And we realized that pornographers always know what to make. Those that want to sell it always know what to stock their shelves with. And those that want to buy it know exactly what to buy.
Know exactly what they're looking for.
Exactly.
And if they're looking for S&M, if they're looking for violence, whatever it is, they know what to look for.
No man has ever walked into an adult bookstore and has walked out with a copy of Shakespeare. They always walk out with pornography. Pornography is a 3-part definition.
All right.
Sexually explicit. In other words, it cannot be sexually suggestive like mainstream advertising or movies.
But if it is sexually explicit, does that in itself make it pornography?
No.
Okay. Number 2.
Second, it has to subordinate women. In other words, what is sexy in pornography is the inequality of women. So you have dominance and subordination. You have inequality.
All right. If it has item number 1 and item number 2, as you've defined, is it now pornography?
No.
Okay.
The third definition is that, depending on different versions, I am taking this from a law that the feminist anti-pornography movement supports, which is called the Dworkin-McKinnon Bill, which is the civil rights approach to pornography. In other words, it recognizes pornography as sex discrimination. The third element is it has to contain one or more of the following, or maybe 2 or more of the following elements. Women being presented as enjoying rape, women being mutilated or bound or tortured, women being penetrated by objects or animals, women being presented as objects who enjoy being displayed, women being in postures of civility or submission.
What's that question?
Al Goldstein, Loudmouth. Go ahead, Al.
You realize, of course, that the United States Supreme Court ruled that the so-called Minneapolis statute was unconstitutional. How would you address that?
I would say that it took this nation many, many, many years to address the inequality of black people. The Dred Scott decision over 100 years ago declared that black people had no rights, that a white person need respect.
1859.
Okay. 1954, Board of Education, Brown versus Board of Education. It took almost 100 years for this country to get that right. We are in this movement for the long haul. So if the Supreme Court didn't get it this time, then we have a lot of work to do. We are up against a $10 billion a year industry. This movement, as far as feminists in this movement, is only 7 years old. We have a lot of education to do.
Well, a lot of people are joining you. A lot of people who don't like the feminist movement, all right, I happen to be one of them, are joining you to fight this effort. Well, could you make a tasteful erotic film? Is that possible?
People have asked us, well, given the definition that you've given, could there be a such thing as erotica? We believe that yes, but in a social situation, in the political and social situation of this country, it is one where there is inequality of women. Women still earn 64 cents for every dollar a man earns, and for women of color, the disparity is greater. There's an epidemic of violence against women in this country. Every 18 seconds, a woman is battered. So the social conditions in this country will not produce erotica. They will produce, in fact, pornography.
But there is pornography out there. I mean, there is erotica out there. I mean, you take a look at some of the people, Candida Royale, all right? The types of films she makes are basically erotica. She doesn't tie up women. She doesn't have forceful rape upon them.
But she still does what most pornography does, which is it reduces women to their body parts. She may say she's attempting to make erotica, but what she is in fact doing is it's the same elements.
But it reduces wait a second, Al. Reduces the men to the body parts, too. We're going to meet one of those body parts in just a second here. I see. Well, let me hear what Al has to say first. Al, you go ahead.
I don't think
Can't get over the weight you've lost. Obviously, you had some bad sex, pal, and it's reacting on it.
Okay, the question for the feminists is that this is not feminist against pornography. There are many women who love sex who are feminists. Betty Friedan, who wrote The Feminine Mystique in the New York Times Magazine section, said, quit picking on pornography. It's not the issue. The issue is the bad pay women get. Putting it on the doorstep of pornography is absurd. Rape existed. Rape existed before porn.
Is that the only issue?
Being in the feminist anti-pornography movement means that we are, by definition, working against violence against women. That is a critical issue for women in this country.
All right.
It also is, we see pornography as a system of prostitution. We define prostitution to be any system by which women and children's bodies are sold for the purposes of sexual use and or abuse. That includes live sex shows. That includes street prostitution. That includes pornography. We are essentially against the buying and selling of human beings. In this society, we're talking about women because that is who is not equal.
Let me give you a fact on pornography before we take a break here. According to the Meese report, at least 50% of all pornographic-related revenues are controlled by organized crime. 90% of all hardcore porn is mob control, production, distribution, etc. In case you want to check that out, Al, it's on page 1049 of the Meese report. Pardon me?
May I address the mafia?
When we come back, you've heard about the issues, my friend. Now we're going to get a chance to meet some of the porno stars. Next on Morton Downey Jr. Show. Hail, the gang's all here. Right. Here we've got Al Goldstein, the godfather of pornography. On stage with us now, I want you to meet some porno stars. Let me introduce you to Ron Jeremy, who's a pornography actor. And I believe you are Alexis Firestone. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, good. Let's go, and I'll ask these questions of both of you folks, all right? Alexis, how did you get your first job in pornography?
Well, I posed for a magazine.
Posed for a magazine?
Posed for a magazine, and was quite...
A well-known magazine?
Yeah, it was pretty well-known. Not a magazine.
Pay anything?
Yes.
Good money?
Yes, pretty well. And then I went from there.
How old were you when you posed for it?
I was 26.
26?
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't been in this very long because you still look like a young person.
Just 1 year old.
You
1 year
been in
over.
this for 1 year?
1 year over.
Ron, how'd you get your first job in porn?
Well, I was doing plays off-Broadway, and I did a thing in Playgirl magazine in 1979. And then director approached me if I wanted to do it. At first I said no. I saw the job market for most of the actors in New York. It's pretty tough. And so this is an industry that wanted me to come in, so I gave it a shot. And I figured I could use that to make the break into regular films, which eventually it did.
So somebody approached you. Did somebody approach you, Alexis, or did you approach the job?
I approached the job myself.
So you knew what you wanted right from the beginning?
Absolutely.
All right, let me ask you a second question. If you could do it all over again, would you do it the same way?
I certainly would.
Are you happy?
I am very happy.
Are you?
Yes.
We're going to ask you about some of the films that you've made and some of the situations. How many films have you made, incidentally?
I would say maybe about 30.
About 30. It only takes in
Not counting,
one year.
Not counting R-rated, R-rated.
In 1 year, you've made 30 films.
Something like that.
Must really.
I'm
This
not
must
telling you.
really be in-depth acting, right? I mean, they couldn't even make 30 Starsky and Hutches in a year. But I bet you could make 30 Starsky and Hutches in a year.
Not too many people can do Deep Throat either.
Can do Deep Throat? Can you do Deep Throat? I didn't realize she was a political spy. I thought that was from the Nixon era. Would you do it all over again?
I can't follow that line. Yes, I would, yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
You're a teacher, aren't you?
I used to be a school teacher.
School teacher, and you still
What
have,
does it say, make noise? Okay.
you still have credentials to teach?
I also belong to the union. Adult films got me into the Screen Actors Guild eventually, because the same director got me into regular films. So it was a way to get to where I wanted to go.
If you had an 18-year-old child, would you want that 18-year-old child to appear in a porno film?
It's very hard to say, because it depends on why people get into the business. Some get into all sorts of various reasons. I can't answer that, because it depends.
Have you ever had sex with someone in a film who was under 18?
No.
Never?
Oh, wait a second.
What about Tracy Lords?
A girl named Tracy Lords used fake ID, fake passport, fake birth certificate, fake driver's license, fake DMV report from Los Angeles. So nobody knew how old she was, including the government. Everybody made a mistake, and she fooled us all. She's now a millionaire, while filmmakers are facing federal indictments of 10 years in jail.
Let me
So I think
ask
it's
you,
kind
if
of
you owned a
unfair.
bar and a kid 15 or 16 years old came into your bar, gave you false ID, and you served him a drink, would you still be in trouble?
According to federal law, I guess you're still guilty.
Yeah,
But incidentally, in Los Angeles,
you'd be
it
in
just came out in the paper that they probably can let those guys go. Right now, it's looking real good in the West Coast. Just came out yesterday, in fact. Because they know that Tracy Lords fooled everybody. It wasn't a conscientious move.
I feel sorry for those bartenders that have been nabbed and lost their licenses because they served drinks to a minor. But this is according to Al Goldstein, I suppose this is a less
Can I ask you a question?
horrendous offense than that, isn't it, Al?
Martin?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does anybody here in the audience ever buy or rent adult videotapes? Do you want this man telling you what you can and cannot see in your own bedroom? No. Thank you.
Have I tried to tell any of you what you can see in your own bedroom?
You want to make, but that lady, Miss Ramos, is saying that adult films, do you want them to be illegal?
We believe in this movement is that we are looking at the social conditions under which women are being made to act in so-called act in these films. What I believe in is that we can legally end the pornography industry, which, by the way, he correctly cited, is controlled by organized crime. I believe that if women truly had equality, women would not be exercising these so-called choices to be making these so-called films that you find entertaining.
Why do you always give up the example of women being tied to the bed, whereas there are actually more magazines showing men tied to the bed? Just something you ought to know. Secondly, I have been in 500 movies.
Incorrect.
That's
Somebody
correct.
Also, she just talked about Deep Throat. People should know that there's a book called Ordeal where Linda Marciano talks about the circumstances under which Deep Throat was made. She was beaten, she was drugged, and she was raped at gunpoint to make the highest grossing pornography film.
It's the same old trick, Ron, that the pimps use on whores, all right? It's the same trick.
I don't like the word
Beat them,
whore.
well, prostitutes, all right?
Because they're victims. They're
How
damaged
come
women.
Harry Ream said that's a lot of garbage? He was in the film too. She said, Linda Lovelace said that they put makeup on her face to cover the bruises. Harry Ream said there was no makeup artist on the set. I mean, Linda Lovelace's book is garbage.
That's
You
right.
understand? She was not beaten up.
How much money do you
Slander
make
the
for one of those
victim.
films? How much money do you
Malign
make for
the
one of those?
victim.
How much money do you make to be on this show?
How much money do you make on one of those films?
It could be anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
Okay.
A couple days.
How much money do you make for a film?
Anywhere between 500 and 1,000 up and up.
And up.
That's
How
right.
how many times have you made up? I know you've made down a lot. How many times have you made up?
Me and you we don't disagree, you and I.
My politics are not to ridicule a woman who is in pornography. What our feeling is
My
is
politics are.
the
The
social
same as I'll
conditions
ridicule him,
that
a
lead
woman has no
her
better
to
opportunity.
pornography are what we attack. We want to expose the social conditions, the sexual abuse in childhood, which is a big factor that conditions women to be in prostitution.
You always pick on animals and kids, and we don't do that.
Well, let me hear what Al, you want to say
We don't do
something.
it to them.
Let
I
Alan
don't do
hear.
Two
kids.
fast things.
Al, go ahead.
Two quick things on the mafia. The mafia is in porn, but the mafia is in everything. Number two.
Did
Part
you
two.
understand that, sweetheart?
Okay. Part two.
Wonderful.
Okay. A lot of the women against pornography are lesbians, bull-dyke lesbians who are jealous and envious of males. They have penis envy, and so they see heterosexuality as competition for their lesbian proclivities. What the part that I think you and this woman should think about is you presume to tell even those people who choose to be in porno films like Crystal Lane that you know what's best for them. That is presumptuous.
If I presume to tell anyone anything else,
here's a woman who
I
does
presume to tell Mr. Mouth exactly what is on my mind.
It's
all
an
right?
empty mind.
I'm letting
There's nothing
you
in it.
tell everyone
There's
what's
nothing
on
in it.
your mind.
Boy, there's
all right?
nothing in it. It's
Ron
empty.
can tell. She can tell. We're all free to tell. Excuse me, let me ask you a straight question, Norma. Are you a bull dyke?
Any woman that cares about changing the reality for women is always accused of being a lesbian. You see, because that's interesting. That's the opposite of being a pornographer. Pornographers are pimps. They buy and sell women for money.
They're the same as slave traders 100 years ago.
That's what pornographers
Same
are.
as slave traders. All right? Have you ever had... Let me ask
Going
you...
by your guidelines, you wouldn't find any of my films offensive. I've been in 500 films as an actor. I never no subjugation against women, none towards men. Well, you have no S&M in my films, no ropes, tying up, beatings. So what have you got against my movies if you saw any?
The right wing describes pornography as offensive. Feminists describe pornography as damaging and injurious to our civil status at a minimum. On the other end of the continuum, pornography is the theory and rape is the practice.
Wait a second.
You just said yourself, if people are shown lovingly on screen having an act of sex, and it's hardcore, and it's done in a loving way, they're playing husband and wife, they're playing boyfriend, girlfriend,
You're putting
like
words in
Computer
my
Al's
mouth. I
movie.
never said
Do you
that.
object to that?
Let me give you another
object to
statement,
that?
all right? You can condemn the Meese report all you want. Anyone who wants to condemn the Meese report is welcome to do that. I'm sure they had more experts working on this case than Screw Magazine has or Ron Jeremy. In recent years, far more violent and explicit films have flooded the market, and this has been accompanied by a commensurate increase in the number of rapes and crimes. That's from page 324. It wasn't written by one person, Al.
Let's talk about the Meese Commission. The Meese Commission, Edwin Meese, who might be indicted. The grand jury's looking at him. This is Mr. Law and Order. Edwin Meese wrote to 7-Eleven stores telling them that they might be carrying pornography if they carry Playboy and Penthouse. If the Meese Commission thought that Playboy and Penthouse is pornographic, what credibility do they have?
As a matter of fact,
Even
the
to
Meese
you.
Commission did not come out and say that Playboy and
They
Penthouse
wrote
were
letters to
pornographic.
the 7-Eleven shops, and Playboy and
I'm
Penthouse
fully
has sued
aware
them.
of that.
You must know
I'm
that.
fully aware of that because I was with the lobby that lobbied to get that done, pal.
Well, you should be ashamed of
We'll be
yourself.
back in a second. We'll give our audience a chance to get involved. Stand by. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'd like to introduce you to a gentleman who served on the Meese Commission. He's coming to us by telephone this evening. His name is Bruce Taylor. Bruce, are you with us?
I'm here.
How are you, pal?
Oh, I'm good, thanks.
Nice to have you on the show with us. Let me ask you, what is the best way? You've heard the show so far. You've been on the phone, right?
Oh, yes.
Are we on the right track, or is pornography just like Mary had a little lamb, she also had a bear, huh?
Well,
Everyone saw Mary's lamb, no one saw a bear.
All hardcore pornography is and can be found obscene, just like Deep Throat's been found obscene. A lot of Ron Jeremy's movies have found obscene. Screw Magazine, Hustler, Penthouse. But what you have here is a bunch of people who make their living committing acts of prostitution in front of cameras, which is a felony under California and New York law. And what Ron Jeremy did to Tracy Lords is a felony under California law. So they're the ones that are committing illegal acts. And what they're trying to do now is to make us think that it's just okay to do that. But I think that now with the increase in law enforcement, we're going to see a lot of their profit motive being taken away.
There's been some areas.
Bruce, Al Goldstein, Screwman, I dare you to get me. I beat you in a federal trial 11 years ago. I'll beat you again. I'm at 116 West 14th Street. Bruce, come get me. Let's have a high noon shootout. You are also a paid spokesperson for the Catholic League of Decency. Aren't you a hired mouthpiece, Bruce? I've debated you, and I know you're full of crap.
Bruce, let me ask you, pal. Let me ask you, Bruce. You heard the accusation made by Scum Lips. Are you gonna sit back there and take that? Huh?
Bruce, can we
Well, let Bruce respond first.
First of all, I told you were going to have trouble with Goldstein, but
Like you, Bruce, like you.
Let him answer.
Second of all, I was a prosecutor in Cleveland. We got convictions against Screw Magazine. They were upheld by the Ohio Supreme Court, so he's the one that's full of crap.
Mark. Ron wants to say something.
Bruce, can you hear me?
It's Ron Jeremy talking to you now,
If
Bruce.
the people in the business,
From his mouth.
if the girls and guys in the business, ooh, so brutal. If the guys and the girls in the business are prostitutes, and the people that hire them are panders and pimps, wouldn't it make anybody who buys or rents a videotape a John? Because they pay my salary. People in the audience who buy and rent videotapes pay me. They pay her.
John.
That's possible. So, do you want to tell 50 million people voted for Ronald Reagan, 53 million people bought or rent videotapes in 1984? You're going to tell these people what they can and cannot do in their own bedroom?
First of all, 53 million people, that's a number that John Boy Weston came up with. And second of all, every time someone buys or rents hardcore pornography, yes, they are contributing to an illegal industry. They're putting money into the pockets of organized crime, and they're contributing to a lot of sex crimes in this country. And Ron Jeremy, you should go to jail just for all the things that you've helped make worse in this country. And I don't think you should be so proud of yourself.
Would you have the same attitude? I want to ask you the same question that Miss Ramos did not answer. If you saw a couple depicting sex, they're playing a husband and wife on screen, doing it lovingly, pleasantly, with no ill effects, no whips, chains, no tie-ups, no ropes. Just a nice, Candido Royale type phone, for instance.
You're talking about a married couple now, right?
A married couple on screen, having a sex scene on camera.
Then let me tell you something.
And a videotape.
The husband have no respect for his wife that he wants everyone else to see her. Has no respect for his wife. He is as low down scum as you are for screwing that young girl. I want to go to the audience. I want some of our audience to participate. You young man.
I'd like to say I think pornography, just like narcotics, is the main source of violent crime today in the country and should be done away with as soon as possible. And I think the quicker we stop supporting guys like this guy over here, then the sooner we could get rid of it altogether.
That's why I'm so damn sure. Let me tell you something. They can rant and rave at the audience that we have in this show all they want in the newspapers all over this country. We got young America that's going to shift this thing out of this country real soon. Young lady, you come up here. Let this young lady speak.
I don't think pornography describes a woman as a lady. I think it's disgusting. I think it's degrading. I think
Don't
that...
watch it.
That's your problem.
Don't watch it. If you don't like it, get out of the theater.
It shouldn't be publicized. It shouldn't even exist.
And you know what?
You're telling them they can't watch it in their own privacy? They can't watch it? They're over 18? Don't watch it.
Wait a second. The rocket scientist wants to talk.
Besides doing pornography, I work in theaters. I strip, burlesque, and I've seen men in the audience masturbating, picking up magazines, looking at me, watching me, and
Is that the norm?
Sunday,
Is that the norm?
I see them in church. Sunday I see them in church.
Masturbating, dear?
You go to church? Same people, just like you.
Ma'am.
Listen, there's hypocrites on both sides.
Ma'am.
You're not the only
Ma'am,
one.
if you want to laugh, you can watch Monty Python. Ma'am, if you want to laugh.
You're in church looking at us? Young man, go ahead. Let this young man.
This is what pornography does. It makes men ridicule women.
That's right.
What's happening to that woman on that stage? She's being ridiculed. That's what pornography
She's
does.
asking for the ridicule,
no,
though,
she's not.
Norma.
You're blaming the
She
victim.
says she enjoys doing what she does.
You are blaming
At what
the
point,
victim.
I'm ridiculing him, why shouldn't she be ridiculed
Because
as equally?
even in the pornography industry, even though he's saying he makes pornography, they are not treated the same. She's being ridiculed. Nobody else on that stage
Are
is
you
being
being ridiculed?
I don't feel that I am. I'm
She
expressing
doesn't think
my
she's being
opinion.
ridiculed. She's not too heavy. Wait, listen. Let this young man speak. Norma, let this young man speak. Go ahead. Let me hear you.
Today, we're never going to stop pornography, but we, at least they could help. I mean, there's all kinds of diseases out there. Ron, are you scared to get AIDS, herpes, gonorrhea? There's a lot of diseases out there. Ron.
Some of your friends over there. Well, all of us are tested. Most of the guys are tested. We
Most of the
ejaculate
guys?
outside the body. Dr. Sonnabend and Dr. Gallo, leading experts on AIDS, said that it's majority transmitted not through heterosexual contact. That
Not
it's very
through
hard,
what?
Heterosexual contact.
Oh,
It's hard
through
for a man
heterosexual.
to get AIDS from a woman. It's virtually impossible. That's from Gallo and Sonnabend. That's it.
Well, I'd suggest that Gallo
And
get his
Sonnabend.
studies up to date, all right? His studies are not up to date. Next, we're going to let the church respond. This ought to raise hell with all of our church-going lovelies here. And Martin down the junior side. Stand back. Welcome back, my friends. We're going to go from legality to morality here, all right? And far be it from me to tell you what you should do or what you shouldn't do. I don't pretend to be anyone like that, all right? You've all got very intelligent brains. You'll make up your own mind. You don't need the government telling you. You don't need Al Goldstein. You don't need Mort Downey. You're a hell of a lot smarter than all of us, all right? Let's go and find out something about the morality and legality here. Let's go to Reverend Tarsitano. Reverend, you're with the moral majority, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Does
Also with active American Coalition for Traditional Values.
All right. Does the church have a role in wiping out pornography?
I think definitely. I think that the church is not doing near the job that it ought to be doing. There are people that are certainly active and people that are trying to accomplish things to stand against pornography, but and this is hard for me to say because I'm a pastor, I'm a minister, but I think that the church really needs to do a lot more and really wake up.
What do they need to do?
The scripture says, we should be the salt of the earth. We're to be a preservative. We're to stand against these things. We're to make our voice heard. When these things are, television is absolutely horrible with the material that is on there. And we had one gentleman just this week wrote in about something that was going on TV, and he says, "You're just about the only voice I heard, and so we're not going to listen too much." I don't know how much they got, but we need to be together and really make our voice heard and show that we want to stand.
What is the church doing?
Well, I agree.
What should it do?
The church is doing very little. And the reason we're in the shape we are today morally is because of the fact that the church has forgotten its mandate. And I think I would say it this way. If this country had been established by people who were seeking for moral freedom where they could exploit women, exploit their own personal lust and desires and live that kind of life, I'd hate to think where we'd be today. Well, we wouldn't be here today. But I'll tell you, if we don't turn our direction and repent and go back to the beginning where we did with a faith in God, believing in moral standards, absolutes, that there is...
Doesn't it all boil down to a one word, respect? Respecting women, respecting men, respecting what the hell God gave us.
Respect ourselves. If we don't respect...
Some woman... Al, zip it, pal. Zip it, Al. Al, zip it. I'll ask the question. Sit back a second. Sit back a second. I'll ask the questions, all right? Some young lady here, Reverend, Who did not get a card to come up? You didn't get a card? All right, I want you to come up. I want to ask you a question, please. Do you mind? No. All right. What is your definition of pornography?
If that's the way somebody wants to represent themselves to the public, that's fine. But if they're forced into it, I think that's terrible. And especially children.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Okay. What is your definition of pornography? Huh? Would you like to be tied to a bed? Huh? Would you think that that was kind of disgusting if you were? Yeah. Even if you volunteered, wouldn't you think that you had been coerced into it?
How do you have any respect for yourself?
There's the word again. There comes the word again. How do you have any respect for yourself? I'm to ask the featherweight. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sir, if you'd like to know, I've done several movies, and I was not forced into doing pornography. I chose it.
There was nothing else you could do. You wanted to do it.
I've been tied up in, humiliated, as you so say. I've never been beaten. I'm not into that. I'm not into children being used in pornography at all. I'm 28 years old, and I agree with a lot of things she says, and the majority of people in the pornography business agree that they shouldn't be there. Their children shouldn't be there, and there should not be. Are you doing something in the pornography business to weed out these people who are using children? Al, you have a great influence in this business. What are you doing? Where are you putting your money? Oh, I got to finish the question, pal. Get up to the microphone. You don't have a mic.
Okay. Where I am is a newspaper. It's sold to people over 18. Now, without the giggling, no one in through is under 18. There's been one instance, as Ron said. The issue again and again is you keep bringing in children because you're really against, as these religious people are, you're against consenting adults looking at pornography. They're against abortion. They're against homosexuality. You're against dancing. You want to bring us back to the world of the PTO.
I'm not against dancing, pal, but I don't want to dance close to you. We'll be back with a final word on porn. Stay with us.
Limousine service for the guests provided by Garden State Limousine. Our prices put you in the driver's seat. Call tonight in New Jersey 997-LIMO.
I want to get back to the Reverend.
I want to hit one more point with this because we've really emphasized tonight how pornography and how it deals and affects with women, and I'm not arguing or disagreeing with that at all. But I personally deal with, as counseling as a pastor, that new husbands come in and speak to me and find that they cannot have a normal relationship with their wife who they love now.
Because
and invariably, every time they've had pornography, they cannot relate.
Remaining on it, Los Angeles Lakers.
Pornography, it affects the men, it affects the women, it affects the families.
I've heard those stories before, Reverend. This young lady has a question. This young lady has a question. All right?
Let me ask you something. If you ever should get married one day and you should have children, do you expect your children to look up to you and say, my mother's a prostitute?
I don't intend to, ma'am.
Don't intend to get married?
Maybe you don't contend to because maybe no one ever will because you have no respect for yourself.
You ever gotten pregnant from your films? Have you ever gotten pregnant in one of your films?
No, I have not. And you are not here to look into the future for me. Okay?
I'm not looking into your future, but I'm saying you have no respect for yourself. You could degrade
That's your
yourself,
opinion.
and you're degrading women in society.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you once and for all, in my opinion, pornography is not art, all right? It's not entertainment. Let's not kid anyone. I mean, you open the window, this little thing's going to go up. All right? Pornography and pornographers are scum. Good night, Al. Good. You all shake hands.
I don't think we have to have a forced sterilization or a uterus in every pot, but I think what we need to do is start requiring them to practice birth control. If they don't want to do that, then their welfare should be cut off.
No, hello. Well, first, let me tell you something, all right, pal? in New York State, I won't direct this to the entire nation and you folks out in Los Angeles or anyplace else. Let me just say, in New York State, the average time one stays on welfare is 2 years, first of all. Less than 1% are chronic welfare collectors. And I might remind you, sterilization is permanent. And the average size of a welfare family is 3 people. So welfare mothers with lots of kids is a myth. Baby, I'm as far to the right as anyone else. But, you know, I just don't see welfare mothers having 16 kids so they can get more welfare because all you get is an extra $40 a month. Got any kids of your own?
Got 2 children, yeah.
Tried to feed them on $40 a month?
The point is, it's not the point of how much money their welfare check received. You're right, the children will cost more than the additional money they receive. But they see that as an incentive. The welfare check being increased is an incentive to them for more money. Also, they also qualify for more food stamps, and I think the food stamp program is wrong. We have so much food stamp abuse. People going into supermarkets, most of us, I think, have seen it, where people go in, they'll buy the best cuts of meat, or they'll buy other expensive items.
Yeah, shame on our poor people. You're not entitled to anything good. Eat hot dogs.
While the middle class person goes in and tries to make ends meet, I don't think anybody should starve in this country. But I don't think we need a food stamp program. By the way, food stamps can be exchanged because they have a monetary value. They've also been used for things like drugs and every other type of vice that you can think of. I think we need a brown bag kind of charity where people can go in and get regular foodstuffs they need. There should be no starvation in America. Let
me tell you, wait a second. You talking about welfare mothers and about too many kids and that. So my understanding that the KKK kicked your lily white ass out because you were spending more time between the sheets than with the sheets on. Is that right? Now you're a good-looking guy, and I imagine you probably found yourself into a lot of those sheets that you didn't wear.
Well, I tell you, sir, maybe I should have found myself into a few more. I think the point is I was never kicked out of any Klan group per se. I started the National Association for the Advancement of White People because I think it's a better approach. I've never advocated violence or illegality, but with the Klan you carry a lot of baggage. I think the media really has produced a great deal of it. I think the Klan was a great organization. It saved the South in the Reconstruction period. I'm not ashamed of my activities in the Klan. I acted legally and properly. I think that at some point in this country that white people need to begin to defend their rights. Affirmative action is discriminating against white people. We find, again, a massive welfare program, and a great deal of it's oriented toward blacks. We find crime racking our cities and racking our states, and I think that, again...
It's all blacks, right?
It's not all blacks, but a great proportion of it is, yes, sir.
But that's great proportion is black on black,
all we hear about the media is...
great proportion is black on black, too.
Well, a lot of it is black on black, but that doesn't excuse the great amount of crime that's been visited upon white people in this country. And black people, they stick together. They have their organizations. And I think the NAAWP...
Although no one says there's anything wrong with having the National Association for the Advancement of White People.
Well, that's what I have, and that's what we're working for.
But I'd love to read your platform, all right?
Well, you're welcome to read it anytime.
Yeah. Dr. Gloria Toot. Dr. Toot, as the Republican Woman of the Year in 1977, as a member of numerous administrations, you have sat so ladylike and silent. What in the world has happened to your tongue?
Well, I was trying to remember that one thing that's great about this country is freedom of speech, and the fact that what he says is rather ridiculous. I really want to call it stupid, really, but I'll be kind and say ridiculous. He has the right to say it. But I would hope that not many people support it, and from what I understand the size of his organization, they never want to indicate
From what I understand, the size of a lot of things may not indicate that he had any real luck. Let me introduce you to a gentleman by the name of Tom Metzger, who is the founder of the White Aryan Resistance. Now, Tom, could you support David Duke for president?
I'm not supporting anyone for president. We do not like any of the candidates, period. And we're sitting this one out. We're showing
That'll probably be
voting
extremely upsetting.
We're voting no confidence. Well, until these turkeys start talking about white workers and workers in general a lot more, we have no use for them. As far as the welfare situation, the largest percentage of people on welfare are white people and white women. And we support those white women that are falling through the cracks of the system.
What about the black women who are falling through the cracks?
I am interested right now in supporting the largest percentage of welfare people in the United States and poor people that are white. I see no white welfare mothers represented here.
You won't support the blacks who have
The
the same
blacks,
problem?
they've got all kinds of leaders and groups. They're yelling, they're screaming, I'm screaming. I'd like to sterilize a few of these fat cat corporation people that keep building more bombs and getting us into more military operations overseas. But I would suggest that welfare recipient white people are creating guerrilla warfare against the system. I tell them to take all they can get before some Asian gets it or somebody from outside the country, because it's all going to be gone pretty soon.
David, back to you. What's your platform? I mean, for a minute, I understand you have an unusual position on what the government should be doing with welfare mothers.
Well, I think we need two things. I think we need workfare instead of welfare. I think we should require able-bodied welfare recipients to do work to get their welfare checks. We find the rolls go down rapidly when you do that. And again, I think that we've got to break the cycle of poverty. One statistic.
How do you break it, David?
Well, one statistic you didn't mention is that a great percentage, almost 60% of the welfare recipients today have been it's been a generational problem. But their folks, their parents have been on the system, on the dole also. You break it by going in there when they go into qualify for welfare. The average woman who wants to receive welfare, she should go into an orientation on birth control. This should be required, and she should agree to sign a statement that she will practice birth control or
Does white women as well as black women?
Sure, they're not going to abstain, but they should.
Wait a minute. We have seen 60 to 70 million white children aborted in this country since 1972. That is a form of sterilization also.
Well, I'm opposed
that
to
is more than were killed in the entire Second World War. That is more.
I agree with that, but
we're not going to tolerate the decrease in the white population by pushing birth control to white women.
If someone wants to receive welfare benefits from society, I think they have a responsibility at the same time to the hard-working people who are trying to provide for their children and who are paying these taxes who can't afford children.
Well, let's find out where the upper middle class are shipping the jobs out of the country.
Does your platform call for full employment?
I think the opportunity for employment must be there.
And you're aware that we can't right now give jobs to everybody who wants a job. You're aware of that.
I'll tell you what I believe. I believe there's a lot of people, and I certainly think there are many people who want jobs and aren't getting jobs, but there's also a lot of people in this country right now who don't want to work.
What's your formula for creating jobs as a candidate? If you want to take people off of welfare, if you want everyone to work, then how are you going to create the jobs?
All right, first of all, we have to have a program where the best qualified get jobs.
Now, how are you going
We've got to protect our country from the foreign trade that's coming in. That's the first thing.
Are
There's
you
no such
aware
thing as
that the only
there's no such thing as free trade?
The only time this country has had full employment is at time of war. Are you aware of that?
I'm trying to answer.
We're going to come back in just a second because this is becoming very boring, all right? Political platforms usually are. Stand with us. I have a question for Dr. Toot, but I have a question for Dr. Toot, but first I want to go. David, are you in a rush for something? Huh? Looking at your watch?
Oh, yeah.
No. You told my producers that you were in favor of sterilization.
No, I didn't.
Of welfare mothers.
I'm not opposed to the principle. I mean, we have sterilization right now among college graduates exceeds the use of the pill as a birth control method. So on a voluntary basis, I'm certainly not opposed to it. And if that's the way they want to practice birth control, that's fine. But I certainly am not for a mandatory sterilization. I've never said that.
All right. Well, we've heard an awful lot of talk in the racist communities about that. Dr. Toot, what goes through your mind when you hear two white racists trying to figure out how to sew up the love canal of America's welfare mothers?
Sickies. You know, they're not practical. They're not realistic. They're not even aware what the medical cost would be to do that. That's number one. But the approach is not rational. The problems that we have in America economically cannot be solved with the platform this gentleman has. In fact, I don't even think he has a platform.
Let me go to the welfare. Let me go to some of the welfare.
Not only is reducing the birth rate important to the middle class taxpayer, it's important to the minority person because these children are born into terrible conditions, child abuse, crime, drugs, and we spend.
Nothing is going to justify the sterilization
we
that you're
spend
proposing.
30 times more on welfare today than we spent just 25 years ago in this country.
You
But
have
wait,
more people
but we-
today
yeah,
than you had
35
25
times
years
more
ago.
people.
You have more people today.
30.
Bear that
Wait,
in mind.
we've got 30 times more people. Wait a second.
I've
We have
been
more
waiting a second, and I've
We have
been
more
listening
poverty
to you.
today. We have more crime. We have more
But
drug
you're not
abuse.
solving
We
it.
have a worse
Preaching hate.
educational system.
You're not solving
and
it. Preaching
ma'am,
hate.
this isn't hate to talk
It
about
is hate.
science and what's
It is
going
hate.
on.
You may not recognize
If you
it
can,
as such.
if the birth rate,
It's not healthy.
the reason why we can't help the
I'm
poor,
just saying it's not
ma'am,
healthy.
the reason why we can't help the
With
poor,
your attitude, you can't.
ma'am, let me finish. The reason
Well,
why
I've been listening to
ma'am,
you all
the reason
for
why,
the first 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes were yours.
the reason why I can't talk to her, she's not listening. The reason why we can't help the poor
For the Grand Dragon.
is because the welfare birth rate is exceeding our ability to pay for it.
For the Grand Dragon.
The welfare birth rate is higher than our ability
Wait
to
a
pay
second.
for
I want to hear from. No, I'm going to be with you in a second, Cyril. I want to hear from Mr. Metzger. Wanted to say something, and I know this has to be urgent.
Well, it's one white race. We were told in the 60s and the 70s that if we stopped the birth rate, lowered it, we'd be in a lot better shape. We'd have a higher standard of living. That was told to whites and blacks. What happened? Sure, the whites did it. The blacks didn't do it too much. Then the third world invasion came, and they filled every blank spot of one of those 60 million kids aborted with someone from the third world. You see?
Does that bother you, someone from the third world coming in here?
It does when they take the place of the sons and daughters of the men and women who fought and have lived and worked for this country all their lives.
Well, they couldn't have fought too hard if they aborted their kids, could they? Huh?
There's a lot of people that believe that's the only way out of their economic situation. Now they say
What's
people
your
are better.
program for out of the economic situation? What
Well,
program
number
do you have?
one is the defense spending. Cut the hell out of the so-called war with all the weapons and all of that kind of
All right,
stuff.
what else do you cut?
The corporations, punish them when they move factories out of this country and force them, if they're going to live here, work here, make lots of money here, they're going to employ American people. And then you won't have the people needing to get abortions all the time. That's the way it should be.
And I'll say something else. I think it's the racial motivation.
Man,
in the
I've
welfare
been accused of being simplistic, but that's absolutely
There's a
unbelievable.
racial motivation in the welfare system,
two
too.
answers are.
Morris Jeff, who's the head of the National Black Welfare Workers Association, was asked by the New Orleans Times-Picayune, what would he do about the illegitimate birth rate? He says, well, look around. We wouldn't control the city of New Orleans except for our birth rate. He himself talked about the fact that whites maybe should be concerned about the increasing minority birth rate in America. I totally
disagree.
I think the
Well,
liberals.
let me hear from a welfare mother, all right? Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm not a welfare mother, but I'm a welfare representative.
All right, you're a representative,
Okay, I'm a
and you represent a lot of
representative
welfare
of
mothers we
welfare
have here.
mothers,
All right.
Women are on welfare. There are
You
lots.
represent them to the welfare boards?
I'm an advocacy to the welfare board of welfare mothers.
All right, let me ask you a question now, because this is a story that happened to a friend of mine in Sacramento, California. He had a hamburger stand near any black community in a black area, all right, near a university. And when he had the young ladies working for them, he paid $5.50 an hour. A welfare lady used to come in there once a month and talk to his people and tell them how they would make more money on welfare than they would by getting his $5.50 because they had to take out taxes, they had to pay for their own medical care, and if they were on welfare, they'd be doing better. Now, do you do that type of thing?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Because that is an abuse, as you know.
That is an abuse. There are some people on welfare who have a need to be there. Welfare was initiated just for that fact, for emergency assistance.
It's called relief.
Emergency relief, as you want to call it. However, these women should not be forced to take birth control pills, have their uterus removed and cooked in a pot, nor should they. Their body, they should have the right to do what they want, not to be forced. Now, as Mr. Downey said, mothers on welfare, they are not having 10, 12, 15 children. The average woman on welfare has 1.2 children. That, okay, now, that average
Let's look at.
out to 2 children.
I wish all the
I
white
can
women
tell
were
you.
having 15
Let
kids.
me give you the actual. Let me give you the actual figures. All right, 73.5% of welfare families have no more than 2 children. 30% have been on for less than 2 years. 50% for less than 4 years. But let me tell you what the real
white
problem
ones.
is. Pardon me?
That average comes down with the white ones.
That's all of them.
The average is out with the white ones.
That's all of them, Tom.
It's total number.
Let me tell you. Well, let me tell you what a real problem is, all right? I don't know if you know it, and I don't know if you know it. I mean, we're all trying to be humanitarian here, all right? The real problem is they won't let the father stay with the family, all right? If the father could stay with the family, then you wouldn't have the problems that you got. But we created the problems with the broken families in this country. The pablum puking Democrats. Where? You know damn well where.
Not we.
Martin, wait a second. Next we're going to talk to this father-son act, all right, that wants to set up their own state, an all-white state. Stay with us. Cyril, I'm coming back to you. Come on, let's go.
Transportation for the Morton Downey Jr. Show, furnished by Redwood Limousine. When in New York, call.
Let me read something for you. Let me read something. This says Duke's campaign bid seen shaking up Democrats and GOP. Good Lord, who's kidding, all right? Now, here's from a magazine. Mr. Duke is quoted. I don't hate blacks. They've got good points. They're like children. They're innocent, and they're cruel. They can't control themselves. You see the way they bop along with their radios, no discipline. They're instinctive. They're instinctive. That's why they're good in sports and music. They've got great rhythm. Whether their rhythm is so great, what are you worried about them having so many children for? Wrong kind of rhythm. Gloria?
Yeah, unfortunately, you have a number of people who the only way they can be seen is not through talent because they don't have it. Therefore, they make extreme statements, and that's their way of gaining visibility. Nobody now does not say that our welfare system is not horrible. It's there, it's in place, and what happens with government is once you put something in place, it's hard to get rid of. But what you have to do is sit down and design a method of improving it. And improving it does not mean to deprive others of their constitutional rights. His rights are being respected. Here he is, network television, saying outlandish things. But the rights of women, not just black women, women in general, he would just, with no concern at all, deprive them of it.
Madam,
Like they've already deprived.
Women don't have the right to attack the race.
Madam Lucille, I want Cyril, you're going to go after
Women
this
don't
lady
have the
because
right.
I know she's been out of shape.
It's not black women. The issue isn't white women, Hispanic, or whatever. The issue is women on welfare. And it's not fair that women on welfare are talked down, they're low self-esteem, they're unmotivated. That is not true. There are many mothers on welfare because they were gainfully employed. There is not adequate daycare facilities for their children. How in the hell can a mother go out here and work when her child is not being provided for?
That's right, ma'am. And if she has more children, she's not going to be able to work. And if she has more children, they're not going to have the money. If she has more illegitimate...
Are you willing to open your office and give out condoms to men who have sex with welfare women to also help keep the birth rate down?
Hell yeah.
I know hardly anybody.
I know. Have you ever considered doing that?
The problem in America for American women and men is the fact that corporations and the government are not providing places where children can be taken in the morning, as is done in Europe, where they have good care, where they're getting a good education, while both the mother and father, if necessary, work.
Ma'am.
What is needed is a place for those who wish to work to take
Why
care
can't private industry do that? Why do we all have to turn to the government? Cyril, let me hear Cyril.
Simple.
Cyril's been trying to talk all night. Go ahead,
Just 1 second. First of all, you're looking at the son of a welfare mother. And we're not a 1.2 family. 9 children followed me. Okay? All members of society, gainfully employed, paying our taxes. And my mother is a candidate for a doctoral degree. Okay. Let's get that check. Welfare mother.
Cyril, incidentally, is with the Congress of Racial Equality.
Mr. Grand Dragon President, I want to give this to you. The way to cut the cycle of poverty is to create jobs. How do you do it? By making every welfare recipient, every welfare mother a worker. Give them a job and a contract. That job and that contract is to administer those funds to their children. Okay? You give them a contract. What are the elements of the contract? They have to maintain the children clean. They have to make sure they go to school. Now, I'm not talking about giving dole money out. I'm talking about creating a job for those so-called welfare mothers. Call them workers.
Okay, how do you create how do you create a job?
White welfare.
You know, you create it, and you make those welfare counselors. You make those welfare
create
counselors.
a job and have the taxpayer pay for it.
You make those welfare counselors. You make those welfare counselors contract compliance officers, and you reduce your spending there. And you put a time limit on all that.
Why?
And before you know it, you'll see those so-called welfare mothers who can now buy daycare services. Okay, I'm not talking about creating free services anywhere.
Why do you try to make it appear like it's just a black problem?
You deal with the white problem.
Where are the white welfare?
Fine, you
There's
deal with the
more
white
white
problem.
poor in this country than black. Now, I know white mothers are on welfare, but they can't possibly. They can't pay the rent. This idea is ridiculous. I know a lot of them on welfare. They try to get the jobs, they can't pay the rent. There's not enough wages to pay the rent. You might always get the symptoms of the black problem.
You are colorblind.
Come on.
Strive hard for women. I strive and work hard for women. I don't care what color they are.
Why didn't you bring some with you?
I got some.
Show me one white welfare mother. I don't see any. You want all the welfare. I tell white. I tell white welfare mothers to go get it. White welfare mothers, get it before
Why don't you
get it.
shut up and
There's more white welfare mothers. Go after it. If you know it's going to Puerto Rico,
Where are they? Where are you white?
Anybody they
Where
bring
are
in.
they? Where are they? We cannot divide the system. We cannot divide the system.
Rotten system.
But where
Why
are your
should the
white
system be
welfare
divided?
mothers? Where
The
are they?
system-
Why
wait
did
just
you
a
not
second,
bring
excuse
your
me.
white
Excuse me.
welfare mothers here?
Zip it for a minute. Zip it.
Why did you bring
Wait a
them
second,
here?
sweetheart.
The
Lucille,
boys
give me one
The
second.
illegitimate problem
Why
is
should we...
primarily a
David,
black
shut
problem.
up! Why shouldn't we just create a total new system? Why divide it? And how's this for an idea?
Because there's a lot
Let
of
me ask you
difference
an
between
idea.
black welfare and white welfare.
Oh, what the hell is
There
it?
is.
What is it?
Because the whites are out looking for the job.
There is a difference.
The whites are out looking for
Yeah,
the jobs
they're trying.
because the whites have a better
blacks are
chance of
sitting on
getting
their
the jobs,
ass,
don't
doing
they?
it over and over and over.
They have a chance to get the job.
What's the difference? What's
I'm
the
telling
difference?
every white welfare mother to take every dime they can get before the third world gets it.
And I'm telling every black one to kick his ass. We'll be back in just a minute. Come back.
I'm not the kind of girl who's just like,
Listen, I want to introduce you to a gentleman you're just going to love, all right? I want to introduce you to a guy. His name is John Metzger. He's the son of Tom. John's the president of the Aryan Youth Movement. Now, John is the founder of that organization. Say, give the poor guy a chance. You look like a normal red-blooded American boy. Whatever would possess you Just suck around daddy with that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll get directly to the main topic of the subject. I won't even bother responding to you. People who don't really.
Oh, I'm just so upset I almost wet my pants.
See, people who don't care about themselves and are lazy and get money off the welfare system, they shouldn't get the money. But I don't want the government coming in and directing these programs, because in a while, just because you look this way, they'll say you're not going to get this kind of money. What I'm saying is people that have a bad break because of all the illegal immigration, 30 million in 1985, 30 million white kids over the age of 25 had no education at all through high school. That was 7 times higher than the black men. And anytime you see it on the news reports, it's always percentages.
Whose fault was that?
Affirmative action, that's who.
No, it wasn't.
Accurate.
No,
all I'm trying to say.
You don't have to have affirmative action to get into school, Tom.
Schools were closed down to white.
You don't need affirmative action to get into school.
I'm not trying.
The education system wasn't shut down
I'm not
to white.
trying to represent all people. I feel it's my duty to represent white people.
Evidently you are.
And that white people really don't have that break. And I'm here to represent them. In Box 1784 in Fall River, California.
Let me hear. Now, let me hear it.
Affirmative action is welfare.
From the white people.
Affirmative
How
action
many
is
of you
welfare.
does John represent?
Affirmative
Let's hear it.
Black. But we,
Okay.
How about the thousands of letters we get off these shows and all these other shows? See, they won't stand up right now because there's a lot of peer pressure out there, but there are people out there who agree. See, I could come in here. See, I can come in here and I feel all right because I know there's people out there I'm representing.
Here's the only thing. Here's the only thing these guys respond to, right? You love it, right? You like that, huh? You like that, huh?
Listen, the most massive program of racial discrimination in America's history is going on right now against white people. It's called affirmative action. It goes on in every major corporation, every business, school, everywhere. If discrimination was wrong against minorities in years past,
education, you have always been able to get into that school.
It's about time we spoke
You better talk into that, pal. No one's hearing you. Got to talk into that.
Affirmative action.
Well, let me hear from an educated person, Dr. Toot, all right? This guy obviously isn't.
What we need is a nation that has full employment, a nation that doesn't spend its budget on armaments. And I'm so glad that now Russia and this country are going to realize that spending money on armaments rather than increasing our productivity is silly.
Well, Dr. Toot, that's another show.
Whoa.
That's another show. I'm not sure we didn't get snookered in that one.
Educating people to work. There's no need for everyone to finish school and be a functional illiterate and have no skills. We have got to increase the productivity of this country.
You like what she's saying?
We've got to have
Would you welcome her into your organization?
Who are willing
Would
to
you?
have daycare
She can come and speak to me anytime and even be on my TV show.
Can she be in your organization? She's saying the things you like.
Does she want to help white people? Sure, she can associate with us. Anybody wants to help white working people, welcome with us.
I would rather have you join my organization of good Americans.
I've been the guest of a lot of black people.
We don't limit it to anybody. All Americans. All Americans.
What I want to know is where the NAACP, where is the NAACP on illegal immigration? How come the NAACP never got into the fight over the border problem? How come the NAACP? How come they don't get into it?
Now, Lucia.
Wait a
second. I want Shorty to say something. Go ahead. What are you doing with that button on?
We're winning all the time. We're winning all the time. You ought to go vote for Justice. Just cut the lights out and vote for Justice because you all saying the same thing.
Now you and I coming apart now.
Vote for Justice. You can't vote for President. We're winning all the time. Winning all the time. I'm not attacking Jesse Jackson. And vote for Jesse. That's all you got to do. You said the same thing he said. You said the same thing he said.
But you won't admit it.
You heard
You won't admit it. We got bad schools because nobody admits it.
Let's do that. Let's do that on another show.
Okay.
All right, let's do that on another show.
Okay.
You like Jesse Jackson?
Definitely I love
Sit
Jesse.
down. Now let's get some calmness.
I can believe her if she's willing to say. I can believe her if she's willing to say yes. I'm for equal rights for all. If the best qualified, the person who works the hardest, who gets the best grades, they should get the scholarship or the job or the promotion. If you're opposed to affirmative action, then I can believe that you're for all people. Are you opposed to affirmative action?
I'm opposed to quotas, but I am not opposed to a system that redresses the needs of people. Now, for quotas, I do not support them. However, I did. Wait a minute, let me finish. I did take an oath.
Let me hear her, Metzger.
I did take an oath. I did take an oath to support the Constitution and protect the rights of all citizens. And they were not simply minority rights that I was concerned with. I am the person who was responsible for women throughout the country to be able to break loans from banks. I can't put blinders on. I cannot think only as a black. You may think that way. I cannot.
Then, ma'am, you should be.
Cannot be great
ma'am.
As long as we have blinders on.
Then you should. Well, then you should be. You should be in a white civil rights movement today because it's white rights that are being lost in America. Massive
You know what?
destruction.
You know what? Hey, John, you know what? I want to go to the people and the welfare mothers next. Let's talk to them. Come on, John. All right. Okay. You all right? Now, let's talk to a wait a second, sweetheart. Let me talk to you. You're a welfare mother, am I correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, if you have a question, ask
And
me.
I'll tell you what, on top of the fact that I was a welfare mother, not only did I used to get AIDS and work at the same time, raise 7 children, all right? But at the same time, I supported some of your women who you walked out on while you were laying underneath the sheet.
How long?
You left your baby.
How long have you been in this country?
No. You are about
Some of the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It doesn't take that much intelligence.
Look, lady.
Between you
Look,
and
lady,
I.
all we're asking you to do is while you receive welfare benefits that you don't have children.
When did you
why?
come to this country?
Why should the people
What did you
who
do
work
for
hard
the
in America be forced to finance your illegitimacy?
What did you do? What did you do?
Why should he take the money from people who are trying to pay for their children's education?
How long have you been in this country? How long have you been in this country?
I was working.
Yeah, where are you from?
I was working. I'll tell you where I'm from.
Where were you born?
I was born in the island of Puerto Rico, which your country gets part of what we have. Do you understand? We constantly fight for what we believe in.
That's the whole problem, ma'am. Native Americans who can't even afford children are forced to finance.
You're running for president, and you don't know a Puerto Rican is Native American? You don't. Come on. How long have you been on welfare?
I only been this past 3 years. I went out of work. All my children were grown. I'm still fighting to get a job because of my nationality or either my color, because if you look at me, obviously I'm not white, but it doesn't make a difference as to what kind of job I need. It wouldn't make any difference.
You can
if
qualify for two. You can qualify for 2 affirmative action programs, Hispanic and minority. I'm black. Ma'am,
Let me ask you,
ma'am.
Have you tried to get jobs at any of the fast
Yes,
food
I
places?
have, and I tell you what.
Ma'am, there's a common place for welfare. Welfare is not
Shut
wrong.
up, David, for a
I have
minute.
taken tests for the government job. Do you understand? And the only
What's
thing
the
is, if
mouth?
you only have one job spot open and 20,000 people apply for the job and only one person
Okay.
can get it, then what?
Let me go to this lady now. Let's get as many people. Let's get as many people up there. Go. Where do you come from?
We don't want Puerto Rico. Take it back.
You don't want Puerto Rico?
No. We
You
support the
believe
Puerto
this?
Ricans. Take it back.
Come here. Wait a second, sweetheart. Zip it. Let this lady have a chance. Zip it. Go.
Thank you. All right. First, I always think it's good for you to have these Duke and Metzger guys on so people can see what real jerks they really are.
That's true, man.
Okay. But anyway, to get down to something serious, I wanted to go back to Cyril's plan
What'd you say about her
for
hairdo?
welfare. What?
Go on, continue.
Look, you're
Said something
irrelevant.
about his hairdo
You're
and he has-
irrelevant.
he has
Let me
some
go
body
on to my
hairs.
point. All right. Actually, I just fell into his hands, so now let me concentrate on what I'm saying. I want to elaborate a little bit more on what Cyril said, because I think that the plan that he proposed for welfare is very good. In any kind of situation, you have both good and you have bad. In the welfare system, I'm afraid, unfortunately, you have more bad people, more people abusing the system than really is
the
necessary.
blacks, that's who.
Now, let me go to
Sure, the
Cyril's
blacks.
plan and just elaborate just a little bit.
Where's the white
Cyril's
welfare
plan
money?
of making the mothers,
I would-
having a
I would
mother
have.
have
We
a
tried to
contract.
get some white welfare mothers. When they heard you two scum were going to be here, they didn't want to be identified with you.
Cyril's plan of having a contract with the mothers, between the mothers and the government, okay, wherein they have certain guidelines to follow it. I would take it even one step further. I would say this. Yes, you have a time limit. And if you
Come on, make it
miss
fast.
one of the
Cyril's already said it.
qualifications that you have to have, if you don't follow one of the procedures, such as making sure that your child goes to school on time, I think the child should be taken
All right,
from
I
you
got a better plan
and give
for
it
you.
to
I got a
somebody
better
else
plan. Let's see
to
what you think of this
fulfill
one.
the contract.
Let's see what you think of
Because
this one. I got a better one for you.
the mother
Tom,
should be
listen.
concerned with
Listen.
You people clean up your act on TV, but go down to the
Let me
street.
respond to her.
Look
The
at it.
question is not welfare. The question is not whether people can be helped in these programs. The question is the welfare birth rate. Why should a welfare
Well, that's
mother
outright racist.
continue to have illegitimate
You want
children?
people to be sterilized? No, that's ridiculous.
No,
People
I'm
have a
talking
choice
about
to have
practicing
babies
birth
if they
control.
wanna
I'm
have
talking about
babies, but they should have
requiring
babies
them to
with all
practice.
obligations
Ronald Reagan.
You know, now I'm going to be accused of being a communist for coming up this one. All right, but I've studied it. I put it to a mathematical program, and I've looked at it. Welfare is costing this country $166 billion a year right now. All right. So wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Shut up.
The
will you?
arms raised.
Now, I say, and hear it through before you boo. I say every American family of four, and you prorate it if it's less than four, every year receives, every American family, rich, poor, everything, $12,000 a year. The second $12,000 that they earn is free. The third 12, they pay back 50% of that for the loan of the 12. The second 12, the fourth 12, they pay back 50%. They've now paid back. At $48,000 and up, you now start paying the 28% bracket. What does that do? It does two important things. Number one, it gives people the incentive to go to work, to become part of the system if they've been on welfare and been lazy, because now they have 12 and they can keep the next 12, all right? It takes those people and gives them incentive. Based on the model put together from some people at the University of Pennsylvania, this would bring back to the United States $109 billion of the money we're spending on welfare, because it would come in productivity and taxes. And you can boo it and say it's no good, but the pablum pukers haven't done anything about it.
The welfare money spent right back into the systems in the neighborhood.
Let me tell you
the arms
something.
race
Let
money
me
goes
tell you
into
something.
bank
You
accounts
want
of
a
the
separate
big
state?
banks.
You want a
Did you hear
separate
what I
state?
said?
You want a separate
What I
state?
said?
Shut up. I'll tell you, I'll give them a separate state. Let's join some garbage scouts together and send this son of a bitch out on one. We'll be right back. Stand by.
Some of the guests of the Morton Downey Jr. Show stay at the Meadowlands Hilton Hotel.
Matchmakers.
I want to come to the Cowboys first. Go ahead, Cowboy.
I just want to tell you, you two don't act like you want to help welfare. You just are like for the white people, only white people. You know, we should all work together in this country. It ain't white and
We're
black.
talking
It's all
about
together.
the largest
No, you're
amount of
talking
welfare
about white
people are
and
white.
black.
The largest amount of welfare
Go ahead,
people
pal.
are white.
Let me hear from this man.
Mort, why didn't you give David the proper chance to display his candidacy?
Why didn't I give what?
His proper, his chance to display everything. You didn't let him talk or anything like that.
Are you kidding? His tongue dug a hole for him, man. His tongue dug a hole.
He got 500 of the 1,500 signatures he needed to get on the ballot.
You single-handedly did that. You ought to have your head examined. You ought to have it examined.
Not because he's a racist or nothing like that. Because you wouldn't give an actual chance to let him say anything other principles.
He said everything he had to say.
You wouldn't give him a chance to say it.
What do you want to give someone a chance when they use their tongue as a shovel, man?
Let everyone else talk. Give him a chance.
I'll give him a chance now. 30 seconds to wind it up.
Well, look, the point is this. I'm not an advocate. I don't believe in white supremacy. I believe in a lot of white stupidity. There's a lot of white people today.
Wait a second. Let me hear him. Let me hear him. Let me hear him.
There's a massive program of racial discrimination going on against white people in this country that affects millions, and nobody's concerned about it. And as Tom says, many of these people, many of the poor in America are white, but they face discrimination in scholarships and jobs. They work hard. They produce hard. But there's no concern. There's no moral outrage about discrimination against young white people. And welfare, I didn't talk. Sure, people deserve welfare. People should be helped in our society. But that doesn't mean that hardworking people
That's your 30 seconds. You got it, Tom.
Look,
Tom's got it.
First of all, I want to say hi to all the Brooklyn skinheads out this way. And second,
yeah,
love you.
Hey.
And second, I want to say all you white poor out there in the audience, we know who you are. We know what your problem is, and we're with you. Get all the money
Let me
you
tell
can
you
get
something,
off
folks.
the bat.
Let me tell you something, because I want Gloria to say, wait a second. You know how you tell the difference between a white Aryan and a KKK? Huh? You take two pieces of crap, throw them against the wall. The piece that sticks is the KKK. Gloria, finish it up. You got 30 seconds.
One, I think that to air a show like this is important for people. But I think what is more significant is the fact that we realize that this is a great country. It's got a lot of problems. But I'm sitting here between two men like this, and I can sit here and know that the audience can think. I'm listening to what you're saying, and that is what is important. But if we ever have a government, like he wants and like he wants, it will not be America.
I tell you, gang, you've heard some of the great hate mongers of our time tonight. They've exposed themselves once again as racist pigs with no constituency. We've also seen again that welfare recipients aren't the problem in this country. These are the problems. These dirt like you. You're dirt. Good night, everybody.